Good afternoon, everyone. This is Deanna Nichols. I am a very shiny person. I'm trying to find a better lighting where you can actually see me. But I am a Blue Diamond Wellness Advocate for doTERRA Essential Oils, and I am here with your Oil a Day, which we do every weekday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. And I want to talk to you for a couple of short minutes about an oil called Geranium. Geranium is obviously a flower oil, and with any of the flower oils, you're going to find some commonalities. One is that they are very calming for folks, so emotional oil that can help when you're feeling anxious feelings. Maybe you got a child who's got a tantrum, maybe you have to do a presentation. Any of those things, geranium or any flower oils are going to be very calming. That's why lavender, Roman chamomile are calming, Melissa, those types of things. Another thing that they have in common is they tend to be really good for the hormones. Hey, Linda. Hi, Avis. Thanks for sharing the video. And so if you're looking to have healthy, balanced hormones, geranium is really good. It's going to be good for reproductive health as well. And so that's just pretty common with the flower oils that you'll find. I am not a huge fan of the smell of geranium, and so when I use geranium, with the exception of for one thing, which I will tell you what that is, well, two things, that I will use it straight geranium every time. I usually prefer it in my blends, and doTERRA has a lot of excellent blends that are for calming and reproductive health. And so let me think of some examples. It is in the new Hope blend, which was designed to help people that are victims of child sex trafficking. So you can imagine why that would be in there. Geranium is really good at helping people to recover from sexual trauma in their past, and so that is why that oil is included in that blend, in my opinion. It is also found in a lot of the hormone blends, like, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty darn sure that it's in both Whisper and Clary Calm, which are some blends designed for women and for hormone balance. So that's how I like my geranium ordinarily, just because it's got a really strong flower smell, and I'm not usually a fan of the flower oil fragrances, with the exception of rose. I love doTERRA's rose. So how the two times that I will use geranium straight every time is, number one, when I wake up in the morning and I have a zit, okay? So you know what I'm talking about. You wake up and suddenly you have this zit that's like brewing under your skin, and you know it's going to be horrible, and it's all red and swollen. And I have found that if I take a little geranium on the tip of my finger and rub it on that area, and I just do that while I'm getting ready before I put on my makeup, that by the time I go to put on my makeup, there's a huge difference. If I keep doing it, a lot of times it'll just go away. And so that is my beauty tip for you with geranium. If you remember in the Bible, I think it's in the book of Esther, where they had all of the women that they took in to be part of the king's harem, and they were trying to get them ready and beautified to see the king. They would give them baths in different flowers, and that's why those oils are real all the time. The oils for the flower oils are going to be really good for skin and beautification. So that's just a little tip from me to you, and it's very biblical. It's good. The other time that I use geranium by itself as a single oil is for bumps and bruises. So I am a person who tends to run into things. I have always had that tendency. I guess because I always have a lot on my mind, and I'm trying to do about 37 things simultaneously. So a lot of times I'm just not paying attention where I'm going, and I'll trip over something, I'll drop something really heavy on my foot. And I don't remember how I figured this out, but as soon as it happens, if I run and get the geranium and I put it on and I keep applying it like every minute or two for the first 15 minutes, and then maybe if it still hurts, apply it a little bit more over the rest of the day, most of the time, in fact, 9 times out of 10, I'll wake up the next morning and it's like it never happened. And it can be a pretty bad fall or something really heavy that I've dropped. One time I dropped a jar, like a really big jar, probably a quart-sized jar full of liquid from chest level directly onto one of my toes. And that should have been like a black and blue toe, and possibly a lost toenail, and possibly something else. So the only time that little scenario didn't work for me, I actually had a crushed bone on my foot. And so the next day when I woke up and it was still hurting, I was like, yeah, I should get this x-rayed. But all the other times, no matter how hard I hit myself, the geranium seemed to do the trick. Now, I have a little boy, and that should be enough said right there. You know how little boys are. They want to climb on everything and jump off of everything, and they think they're invincible. And I kind of want him to believe that, so that he doesn't get held back by limitations that I put on him. So I let him climb up things that would probably scare, well, they scare me, but I let him climb up a mountain on his own. I have a video of that somewhere when he did that when he was like 2. That was pretty intense, but I let him do these things. And so he falls down and hits his head and gets those big knots. And I have found that Frank and Jerry are his best friends when that happens. Frank is frankincense. We talked about that yesterday, or I think, or something. Pretty sure that was yesterday. And Geranium, which is Jerry. Those two guys together are great for bumps on the head. And I'm telling you, you take those and just rub it on that bump. You have to do it several times over the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. And with the exception of one time when I just went and took him to the ER because it didn't seem like it was getting better, it really kind of just melts away on its own. And it's a very, very good feeling as a mom to know that you have something that can relieve that for your child instantly. And frankincense is so good for the brain too that that makes perfect sense to put that on a bump on your head. So he, at a very young age, like before he could barely talk, he started pointing at the geranium and frankincense. They're next to each other in our oil case. And he started pointing and saying walls, which is how he says oils, and asking for those particular oils when he has bumped himself. And when he's bumped himself and he doesn't think it's bad, then I'll ask him, do you want oils? And he'll just say nope. But when he knows that it hurts and he needs help, he will go straight to the oils. And I love raising my little son with natural solutions that are good for his brain, good for his body, and he's going to grow up thinking that's perfectly normal. And so he won't be this like 35, 45-year-old man that's like, ew, those are witch oils. And you ladies that are watching this know exactly what I'm talking about. It takes like about 6 months or so to seemingly most of the time to convince our guys that we're not into some crazy snake oil lunacy when we first start using the oils. And I just feel so good that someday my son is going to be this adult man that's totally comfortable with natural solutions. He can teach his family, even his wife if she doesn't know, and his kids, and they will be raised their whole lives just the way he was. And that is super, super awesome. And that is why I do doTERRA, so that I can help other moms raise their families that way and raise up little girls and little boys that just know about how to take care of their own bodies and are so empowered. So I hope that you will try some geranium. You might like the smell. There are a few of you out there, you're weirdos, but you really like the smell, and more power to you. I don't enjoy it, so I try to put it where it's not near my face, except when I have a zit, because I don't care what it smells like. I got to get rid of that zit before I have to go somewhere, right? So we'll do anything for that. But it is a wonderful oil, and I'm so glad it's in our blends, and I'm so glad it's there when I need it. You guys have a wonderful day, and shine on.